What is good, rookies? I had recorded this video, but the audio apparently decided not to work and the mic was not picking up anything or plugged in. I don't know what happened, but I'm trying not to rage quit because I got to rush through this now because I'm running short on time. So we love that. But firstly, before we get into anything for our trade talks, if you're not subscribed, please hit subscribe. If you haven't liked the video or liked any of the videos that you see when you watch it, make sure you like the video. It helps you let me know that you guys enjoy the content that I make. And I want to try and see this number get to about 50 and then 75. So if we can see that bump up, hell, get to 100. Why would I doubt this Supercoach community? Let's get to 100 and then honestly get to 100 and I'll let you guys do a pick in for a starting selection next season. Because there are some crazy ideas that I want to do moving forward for next year, just for a bit of fun. So with that all said, Trade Talk Tuesdays. Let's go. Now, again, I'm short on time, so I'm going to be blitzing through this. My trades this week are looking like a rookie and a HEENEY or ZORKO. We need a forward primo to bring in. HEENEY or ZORKO are great options. I don't think you can go wrong with either choice. However, HEENEY does have a 135 break even coming up against Geelong, which is there is a chance that happens. Or there's ZORKO with a 125 coming up against Bulldogs. I think both are either a chance to hit their break even. I'm unsure. They're literally almost the same price. About the same price. ZORKO has St Kilda next week, so if we don't get him this week, we get him next week, or vice versa. HEENEY has who have they got next week? Adelaide next week, and then they've got a bit of a tougher run. Up until round 17. So I think honestly, I don't know, but it's going to be HEENEY or ZORKO. That's all I know. That is all I know. So if we're going to, let's just say we bring in ZORKO. Just for example. We're just going to lock it at that. With that done. So our rookie of choice, this is not going to be selected until team sheets, which I recommend everyone does. We're looking at a Dawson. We're looking at Blight. It could be a Campbell Gray. Could be a McMullen. I'm not going to go on a Lear just because it's too pricey. Could be Payne. Probably looking at the mid-season drafts outside of Dawson or McMullen just because they're cheap. Richmond, I like the idea of Blight. He played a really good VFL game, so hopefully he comes in and absolutely kills it coming up against Adelaide on Thursday night. So we'll know team sheets for at least the Thursday night game tomorrow night, so we'll be able to know whether we want to bring in Blight or not. Still doing one up, one down, potentially looking at moving on Hoare or Rogers, depending on who's named. If Garcia, I'm hoping Garcia gets named because he played really well in the VFL last week, and they just need to bring him in. I don't know why he's not being brought in. I don't know what they're doing over there, but they need to fix it. So, as we always do, we're just going to quickly have a look through the trade-ins for the top 1%. I think the trade-outs are pretty simple. We'll just blitz through. Trade-outs, if you're trading at any of these players, I think that's a solid choice. The only person I'd potentially be holding onto just in case is Hugo, Clary, and Colossi if you're really desperate. Hugo is the first one I'd hold depending on team sheets. I think he's still got some more cash to make. He's still got a low break even. If he comes back, he's still going to make a bit more cash. So unless if he misses this week, we're trading him out. Because that's like 3 weeks back to back that he's just sitting there doing nothing. Colossi's a warm body. Wilson's a one body. Like if you need the one bodies, keep them. Where the price drop, and then trade them out at the buy. Obviously, this is all very team dependent, but I think those are good options. Traded in for the top 1%. We're looking at Dawson. Great choice. Hopefully, he maintains a role, gets named, and just keeps doing what he's been doing because he's got a really nice break even. Shows some really good potential scoring with a 79 in his system. When it comes to bringing in players that have come off their bye, so we're looking at Brisbane, Sydney, and Greater West Sydney. I think you can't go wrong with bringing in any of the following. So Neil, great mid option. ZORKO, great mid or forward option. Goulden, bit of a pod pick at a cheap price. Green, I think, is the highest priority for value. $4.90. His stats on paper don't look great, but I think he's actually in pretty good form. If you take out the sub effect, like the injury affected game, he's still averaging what he was averaging last season, and I think he can do more than that. Warner, great pick if you want to get on the run. He's been playing very, very well. A lot of people are tossing up between Neil and Warner. Neil's the safer pick in my opinion. But if you want to try and make some difference, you bring in Warner. I don't think you can go wrong with either of them, to be honest. If I had to pick one, I'd probably go Neil. I just want the consistency because they can both do. Neil can do a 70 if he gets tagged. I don't think Warner gets tagged from what I know, but he can still pop out a 70 as well. So each to their own. Not too much price difference there. Moore, I think, great pick. This week obviously has GWS. Could be a bit not as easy for him in this game, but he does have Richmond next week. So I think a lot of people are trying to get him in now while the break even is low before his price goes up. So if you haven't got him, I think he's a great pick to bring in the forward line. Definitely solid, I don't know, maybe F4, F5. Ridley proving himself to be a contender for maybe top 8, top 10 in defense. If you can wear the buy round of 14 to bring him in, I'd say go for it. And McNeil showing his hand to be a rookie option for a downgrade this week as well. What happens with that, though, with Bevo? Who the fuck knows? It's the Bevo. So with all that, really, I'm trying to skip through this and not fluff around too much. Midfield-wise, again, you've got Neil, you've got Goulden, Heaney can even play mid, and you got Dunkley. If you had to prioritize any Brisbane players, if you don't have Zorko, I'd probably bring in Zorko. If you have Zorko, I would probably be leaning towards Dunkley over Neil, simply because Neil is probably more favourable to get tagged, which then gives out... I think Neil has a higher ceiling than Dunkley, but I think Dunkley's going to be a bit more consistent than Neil. We can just have a quick look. Because I like Dunkley. He was on our list for a little bit. So what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of 11 games, including round 0, he hasn't turned up 4 times. Whereas if we looked at Neil, for example. All right. So we've got 1, 2. I mean, there. I'll take it back. Fuck Dunkley. Go Neil. Go Neil. Go Neil. Don't go Dunkley. Go Neil. Just be wary of the tag that can come. Basically, Dunkley, Neil, and Zorko, all great options. For Sydney, you've got obviously Heaney, which you can bring in. Goulden as a great pod pick for like an M8. And then even Grundy as a ruck. If you held on to Sweet and you want to trade him out to get some cover and finish up your rucks, I think you can probably pick up Grundy and lock him in as the R2. Just be wary that he is a bit of a roller coaster. He'll have his bad games, but so is every other fucking ruckman. There's no real locking contender for R2 at the moment. Gorn obviously being R1, I don't think that's ever changing. Yeah. I honestly don't think you can go wrong. If you don't have English, don't have Marshall, you're happy to, if you can stomach Grundy's ability to give away so many frees, I'd say pick him up. I'd say there's nothing wrong with that trade in. And they got Warner as well. So again, Warner I think's a good one. I think most people are probably going to be jumping on him from Sydney. I'm assuming most people have Heaney. This is a great pick. I'd be probably leaning towards more Goulden. That time on ground is sexy as shit, and I think he's just gonna have a strong finish home run. The home run's gonna be really strong for Goulden. I have a feeling. Just looks good. That time on ground's just doing him wonders. And then GWS Green. I don't think you'd want to target anyone else but Green. I think Green's like a top trade-in target this week if you don't have him. Under 500k, easy trade up from like a Wilson or a Reed, something like that. I think it's a really solid choice, and you're not having to break the bank to do it. Whitfield. Do you bring in Whitfield? I'm going to say no. We looked at bringing in Whitfield, and I'm glad we didn't, because Stewart ended up actually outscoring Whitfield. Whitfield got bullied, absolutely fucking bullied. And this is what happens. It's Whitfield. So I probably would lean away from bringing in Whitfield. I think you got plenty of other options around that price point. You just need to be cautious of covering the buys, and that's just as it is. But yeah, that's our trade thoughts, trade plans. Next week, we're probably going to be looking to bring in Ryan and Which anyway. If we can't, we're bringing in Clark. And that's basically it. That's all we're looking at next week is bringing in one of those Freo defenders to help finish up this, because we got Houston in. I don't mind having Fishers sit here at the moment. but ultimately want to bring Fisher down. So we can either switch Fisher and Sexton. Either at this point. It doesn't actually matter. As long as they're on field, I don't care. But yeah, with that said, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and leave a comment letting me know your trade-ins for this week. A lot of the primos are going to be pretty normal for consideration for what everyone's bringing in, but I am curious to know what rookies you're looking at bringing in, if you have any favorites, and who you're hell-bent on bringing in. So let me know what rookies you're looking to downgrade to this week, because I'm fucking lost. I'll see you guys on Thursday for our CVC choices and our locked-in trade.